Welcome to the commentary for the first episode in Crisis in Ludology. So this is a Dragnet parody. So Dragnet was an old show even when I was a kid, but it was culturally relevant. People would say, "Just the facts, ma'am," and other bits of Joe Friday impression. And it would come on Nick at Night, and I would watch it. There's some set pieces that you have to have for it to be proper Dragnet, and one is the pan over the city, and that this is the city monologue. I really love how this came together, and I really love how getting the distance for the camera and the parallax and all the other pieces exactly right suddenly turns a pile of board games on your floor into a city. Another important piece is the little moments in between detectives. I really like having this little bit with the coffee. It's nice to have just a little bit of character time. All right, we need to talk about the car. The classic way to do a shot like this would be green screen. However, I can't do that because this car and Legos are basically made out of mirrors. So I decided to crib the notes of another character who is effectively made out of mirrors, but who has a much larger budget. The Mandalorian basically shoots in a room made out of TVs. I did the same thing with this contraption. By the way, this is the most use I have ever gotten out of my 4th edition D&D books. My daughter played Mario Kart in the background while I filmed. When you see the footage, it's actually being played backwards to make it look like the car is going forwards on the highway. I do this a lot. Really, there's probably a 50-50 chance with any clip you watch in one of my episodes that it was shot back to front as front to back. So Joe Friday speaks in a very specific, exhausted monotone, and you need contrast to really sell that. Original Dragnet uses wild character actors for all the civilians. We use Officer Scotty to the same effect. The paper that I reference is a real paper, and we will continue to dissect it. I have not been in communication with the authors of this paper. I very much doubt that they believe that their paper has killed the idea that playing violent games causes violent actions. But I'm doing a parody in 5-minute stop motion shorts, so I think I can take a few liberties. So this is a place where I'm actually pretty unhappy with how I was able to imitate the original. In actual factual Dragnet, the most common shot is a tight head and shoulders that holds for as long as the character is speaking. Unfortunately, I just can't do close-ups. Part of this problem is that I don't have a macro lens to be able to get very close to a very small subject. However, part of my problem is just that I only wiggle the Legos when they speak. So it's a little weird to get right up on them when they're talking. I'm gonna need to come up with a better plan in the future. The commercial segment is a late edition. We're going to be talking about p-values a whole lot during this series, and it is super esoteric. I think that scientists in general have a understanding of p-values and what's wrong with them, but we're very bad at communicating that to the outside world when we actually share results. Usually, if a p-value is less than 0.05, it gets reported as, "This is a true thing," and that's really not what it means. All right, the coda is great. I love the little bit at the end. However, watch the coffee cup. Those cups and everything else made out of paper. Okay, not the jackets. I love the jackets. They're my babies. But everything made out of paper was obnoxious in this scene. They are just too light and they blow away on a stop motion set.
Hey Dad, we have Lego coffee cups.
Dang it! In my next production, all props will be made out of rocks. All right, one last bonus fact. Who do you think played the body? Robocop? You're not a Lego or a video game character. Huh, he has his own townhouse in Ludology, courtesy of the NES. Oh well. I think this particular Robocop is quite appropriate for a video about media violence. This is my 1988 Kenner, which means I got this when I was 7, maybe 8 years old. Robocop is a hard R movie where there are 55 on-screen kills by one count, many of them gruesome. We don't market that sort of movie to kids anymore. We barely make that sort of movie at all, although Ryan Reynolds may take exception to both of those last items. Were we right about media violence in the 80s or right now? It's a media effects theory question, and that's what we are looking at for the next couple of episodes. Thanks for watching Empirically Good. Next week we will have a regular episode and start tracking down the suspects. See you then.